Welcome to Free Plugin Friday, the series where we check out a free plugin, you guessed it, every Friday. And today we are taking a look at a free bass plugin by Ample Sound. My name is mattflanc, let's get started. So when you first open up epple.4, this is the window that you see. You have a piano keyboard over here, a lot of knobs and sliders, and an image of a bass that you can also see visual input on what you're playing. So now, before we start to adjust anything, I want to show you how this bass sounds when I play a little bass line. So let's do that first. So that is how this bass plugin sounds without adjusting anything in the knobs or settings. So now let's go over the settings one by one. Let's start by looking at the image of this bass. First off, you can adjust the tuning of each string individually, as you can see right here. And you can do this for every string. Next up, we have the basic volume knobs that we have on a normal bass. This is the master volume of the bass, and this is the volume of the slap. So now underneath the neck of the bass, we have a couple of options. To open string first knob, we can toggle this on or off. Then we have a hold pedal option. If you enable this while playing, you will hear that a lot of notes will be pedaled. Then we have standard mode, keyboard mode, or solo mode. I like to leave it on standard mode. When you enable keyboard mode, it is possible to play multiple notes on the same string at once. In solo mode, you can only play one note at once. You can see I'm pressing multiple notes at the same time, but you're only seeing and hearing one note being played. And in standard mode, you can play like a normal bass, basically. Next up, we have an auto hammer on and pull off switch, auto legato switch, or we can turn this off. So now let's go over the knobs and the different sliders. The first knob is an auto buzz knob. If you turn this on, you will hear random buzzing of notes and strings when I'm playing. I can turn the frequency of these buzzes up, let's say to all the way 100%. You will hear a buzz on every note I play. If I turn this all the way down, you will hear a lot less buzzes. Let's turn this off again. Then we have acoustic noise that we can turn on. Let's turn it all the way up first. And you can also turn this down to turn down the frequency of these acoustic noises. Let's turn it off again. Next up, we have the release sound gain. And let's turn this up all the way for demonstration purposes. Most of the changes these sliders make are very subtle and will make the bass sound more realistic in the end. So next up, we have the effects sound gain. Let's turn it all the way up. Next up, we have the accentuation noise gain. Then we have the fret sound attack gain. And the fret sound release gain. And then we can also turn the fret sound on or off. You can immediately hear the difference. So next up, we have a little attack knob. We can fade in the bass when pressing a note. If it's at 0, the attack is basically at 0. Like with a real bass. The start knob is the global sample start time. This will adjust how long it takes for the sample to start playing when you hit a string of the bass. If you don't have this, it will sound like a piano basically, because the string is attacked immediately. So now let's take a look at the keyboard. First we have these two knobs here. This is a basic pitch bender. Then we have the manual vibrato wheel. And so now let's take a look at the keyboard. As you can see, there is blue and yellow lines underneath the different keys. This is to indicate different sections of the keyboard and different settings that come with these sections. So the big middle blue line is the section of the keyboard that you can actually play. The range of this bass is from an E1 all the way up to an E4. As you can see, any higher or any lower doesn't work. The notes in this range offer a variety of different options that are meant to be adjusted later on in the MIDI clip to make the bass sound more realistic. We have a sustain key, nature harmonic, a palm mute, slide in and out, legato slide, hammer on and pull off, staccato, slap, tap, pop, and a capo man key. I'm not going to go over everything that these keys do, because that would be for another separate video. If you want me to make that video and show all the functionality of this plugin, you make sure to let me know in the comment section below, and I will try to make that video as well. So now let's take a look at the second yellow line. This offers some adjustments that can be made while playing. So for example, this makes the note buzz, as you can hear. Then we have a dead note. It stops the playing of the note. Then we have a descending fourth, a unison key. Then we have a single note repeat, ascending fifth, single note repeat again, and an ascending octave. The second blue line region of this piano introduces a bunch of effects that can be played to make the playing of your bass sound even more realistic. We have a couple of scratch noises. Then we have accentuation noise that can be added. As you can see, there is a couple of different variations of this. Now we have a slap left. It all sounds a little bit different to make it sound more realistic. Then a slap right. Again, this all sounds a little bit different, as you can hear, to make it sound more realistic. Then we have a couple of effects slides. And again, all of these sound a little bit different to make the bass sound more realistic. Then we have a couple of more adjustments that can be made to this bass. For example, auto legato mode and some adjustments for string 4, 3, 2 and 1. So we can adjust different settings for different strings individually. And again, if you want me to make a video when I go over all the functionality of each of these keys, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. So then let's take a quick look at the tabs on the top of this plugin before we end this video. So we are now on the main tab. Now let's take a look at the tab. Sounds funny. And as you can see, we can import MIDI here, and to make this bass plugin play something that we wrote, for example, in a program like MuseScore. This is something that is programmed in before adjusting anything. So let's listen to that real quick. So it's basically just playing a basic walking bass for a blues scale on this bass. If I adjust the tempo of my DAW, the tempo of this bass plugin playing will also adjust. So then we have the sample editor of each note of this bass, and we can adjust the tune of each bass note and the gain. So for example, if you want G#1 to be played a little bit lower, to be a little bit detuned, we can introduce a little bit of detune. For example, this is 10 cents, and we can adjust the gain as well. You're obviously not gonna do this for only one note. You're going to adjust these values if you want to make the sound really realistic and in a really specific way for your song that you're making. And then you can save this preset as well. So for example, if you have a certain preset for a certain song that you're playing, maybe you're even playing it live, then this can come in really handy to make people really think that you're playing a real bass. And then we have a settings tab where we can save presets. We can see the instrument path, adjust the master tune, MIDI out, max voices, and select and change a whole bunch more settings. One more thing I want to talk about here is that you can adjust the MIDI channel for each string individually. If I turn this on, the string number 4 will be MIDI channel number 4, string number 3 will be MIDI channel number 3, and so on. I think this is a nice feature. So that is the basic functionality of this bass plugin. Make sure to go download it, it is free. This video is not sponsored, but I genuinely like this plugin. If this was helpful, leave a like to let me know, and subscribe if you don't want to miss any other free Plugin Friday videos. My name is mattflanc, thanks for watching, peace out.